In this video, I'm going to show you how to get your time back and actually leave work at 5 p.m. without breaking your own boundaries by 10 a.m. the next morning, so you can build a $500,000 plus practice working 30 hours a week and feel in control of your life for the first time in years. My name is Dr. Javier Carlin. I'm the founder of the PT Freedom Formula, and I help solo physical therapist practice owners who are making 1 to 200K per year get to 400 to 600K while working only 30 hours per week and being fully present with their families. I've helped PTs generate an additional 10 to 30K per month within 90 days and permanently end the people-pleasing patterns that are running their practice into the ground. If you want results that actually last without having to attend another motivational seminar that gives you a temporary high, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Now, let's dive in. Most PT practice owners believe that the problem is time management. They need better systems, more efficient workflows, and a stronger team. And I get it. That makes sense because you're busy as hell, your calendar is chaos, and it feels like if you just had the right system, everything would click into place. But here's a problem with that belief. The first thing it causes is the system addiction trap. You've already bought 7 different time management books. You've tried time blocking, Pomodoro method, Cal Newport's deep work, getting up at 5 a.m. They work for 3 days, and then you're right back to chaos. Because you don't have a time management problem, you have a boundary problem that's rooted in the fear of disappointing people. The second problem is the efficiency illusion. You've implemented EMR systems, you've automated scheduling, you've streamlined documentation. Your systems are efficient, but you still say yes to 8 a.m. Saturday appointments. You still work until 7 p.m. Efficient systems don't help when you override them because you're afraid to say no. And the third problem is the team mirage. You possibly hired a PTA. Maybe you even started to bring on another PT, but you find yourself micromanaging everything. You redo their work and you just can't let go. You don't need a better team. You need to heal those control issues that are stemming from, if I don't do it perfectly, I'm not valuable, which leads to working 55 hours per week plus, despite having perfect systems on paper and feeling like a complete failure because you can't stick to your own boundaries. Sound familiar? That's because this belief is keeping you stuck. The truth is that the only way to actually implement time management, maintain efficient systems, and effectively lead a team is to first address the unconscious patterns and the beliefs that make you override every boundary that you set. So you can actually build systems that you'll actually honor instead of sabotage. Now, let me prove this to you. Dr. Gabor Mate, one of the world's leading psychology experts, said this: we don't have time management problems. We have priority problems that are rooted in unworthiness. When you don't value yourself, you won't protect your time, no matter how good your system is. Healing isn't about better strategies. It's about addressing why you abandon yourself every single time someone else has a need. And Stephen Covey, the guy who literally wrote the book on effectiveness, said this. He said, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. Here's what I learned later in life. You can't schedule your priorities if your unconscious mind doesn't believe that you are worth prioritizing. Now, these aren't random opinions. These are guys who literally study this stuff for a living saying the same thing. Systems don't work when your psychology sabotages them. Make sense? It's like trying to keep water in a bucket with holes in the bottom. You can buy a better bucket, a new time management system. You can pour the water faster, work more efficiently. You can hire people to help you pour, building a team. You can read 20 books about proper bucket technique, more courses, but if there are holes in the bucket, the water keeps draining out no matter what you do. These holes could be, I need to say yes to be loved, which is a childhood wound. Boundaries make me selfish. Past conditioning. I'm only valuable when I'm productive. Limiting belief. Rest means I'm lazy. Could be inherited programming from your parents who said you work hard, you sacrifice, you become the doctor. Look, you don't need a better bucket. You need to patch the hole. And once those holes are patched, you clear the blocks. You clear the limiting beliefs. You have the same bucket suddenly working perfectly because nothing's draining out anymore. You see, every time management system that you've tried has failed for the same reason. You're trying to manage time while your unconscious mind is actively sabotaging your boundaries. Let me tell you what happened to me, okay? I was obsessed with systems. I had a color-coded calendar with 15-minute time blocks, a morning routine with 12 specific steps, project management software for everything, SOPs documented for every task, team meetings scheduled every single week, multiple times a week, automation for email, scheduling, follow-ups. It was beautiful on paper, but in reality, I break my own system by 10 a.m. every single day. Someone would text me, "Can you squeeze me in today, please?" And then I would rearrange my perfectly blocked calendar. Someone would call with an emergency, and I'd cancel my lunch break. I'd cancel my scheduled meeting with a doctor. A team member would ask for help. I'd drop everything to micromanage their work. I blame the system. Maybe I need a different calendar app. Maybe I need a better automation. Maybe I need a better team member. I spent over $15,000 on productivity courses, project management software, hiring consultants to help me optimize my systems. And yes, the systems got better, but my behavior didn't change. Then in my own clear the block session, we uncovered the root. When I was 8 years old, my grandfather told me, "You're only useful when you're helping others. Don't be selfish." That one statement created a 20-year pattern of feeling guilty when I had boundaries, feeling anxious when I wasn't producing, feeling worthless when I said no, abandoning my own systems to accommodate others. Now, we released that event, cleared the emotional charge, installed a new belief that I'm valuable because I exist, not because I produce. Within 2 weeks, I honored my calendar for the first time in my life. For example, someone texted me, "Emergency, can you see me today?" The old me would have panicked, felt guilt, rearranged my calendar and said, "Yes, of course I'll see you." The new me, "I'm booked today. I have Thursday at 2 p.m. or Friday at 10 a.m. Which one works better for you?" Zero guilt, zero anxiety, just full on clarity and focus. The same calendar system that I've been using for years suddenly worked because I wasn't unconsciously sabotaging myself and the calendar anymore. I never had a system problem. I had an unconscious programming problem that made me override every system that I created. Here's another case study example, okay? Let's call her Dr. Sarah. Sarah was the most organized person. She used Asana for project management. She had her Google Calendar perfectly time blocked. She used Notion as her database. She automated her email sequences. She had a virtual assistant, a team of 2 PTs working 55 hours per week, felt completely out of control. She spent over $20,000 over 3 years on systems and consultants, and nothing seemed to work for her. Why? Well, at age 10, her mother missed her dance recital to work an emergency nursing shift. Sarah was told that your mother is a hero for helping that patient. So what happened was that Sarah unconsciously internalized love equals sacrifice, boundaries equal being selfish, and my needs don't matter as much as other people's needs. That one childhood message was running her entire schedule for over 20 years. Once you clear that with MER, you resolve the values conflict, you install a new belief, like boundaries let me serve at a higher level. After 2 to 3 months, those work hours go from 55 to 35. She's able to leave at 4:30 p.m. every day, attend 100% of her daughter's soccer games instead of about 30%, raise rates from 200 to 400 per session, and revenue increases, which leads Sarah saying, "I spent $20K on systems and consultants for over 3 years and nothing worked." Not because the systems were bad. They were great. They didn't work because I was unconsciously programmed to abandon myself every single time someone else had a need. Once we cleared that programming, my systems worked perfectly. Same calendar, different nervous system, different results. Listen, Harvard researchers studied 8,155 people with perfect plans, time management systems, clear goals, written schedules. Only 47% actually followed their own plans. Now, the difference wasn't the quality of the plan, their intelligence, or their motivation. The difference was pre-existing emotional associations with the trigger behavior. People who had an unconscious negative association with boundaries, saying no, or stopping work, anxiety, guilt, fear, they physically couldn't execute their plans, even though they consciously knew what they were and they actually wanted to. This happened because their limbic system hijacked their prefrontal cortex. The conclusion was this: implementation intentions only work when there's no emotional conflict with the planned behavior. When unconscious emotional patterns contradict those conscious plans, the emotional patterns win 100% of the time. And you know this, right? Your time management plan says leave at 5 p.m. to be home for dinner. But your unconscious association is, if I leave at 5 p.m. while patients still need me, then I'm selfish and I don't care. The unconscious is going to win every single time. You need to clear the emotional association first. And then all of a sudden, the entire system works. And here's what kills me, right? You already know this with your most difficult patients. Think about the patient who keeps re-injuring themselves. You give them the perfect exercise program, ergonomic advice, instructions to stop doing the harmful movement. They nod. They say, yes, I understand. They agree. Then they go home and do the exact thing that hurts them. Why? Because the behavior is driven by something deeper. Fear of looking weak at work, so they lift those heavy boxes anyway. Anxiety about asking for help, so they do everything themselves. The belief that pain is weakness, so they ignore the warning signs. They have a belief from childhood that says that rest equals laziness, so they keep on pushing through. And you know that until they address the psychological and the emotional component, they're not going to follow through on your perfect exercise program. Not consistently, at least, and they'll likely drop off. You can give them the best system in the world. It won't work until they deal with the underlying fear or belief that's actually driving their harmful behavior. You are the patient right now. You have perfect systems, calendar boundaries, delegation plans, but you keep re-injuring yourself by breaking your own systems. You wouldn't tell that patient, you just need a better exercise program. You'd say, we need to address why you keep doing the thing that hurts you. That's the deeper issue here. So remember to continue to apply your own PT clinical reasoning, because the problem isn't your system, it's what's driving you to override the system. When you address that, the system finally works. So if you want to build a $500,000 practice working 30 hours a week without breaking your own boundaries by 10 a.m. every single day, here's what to do next. First, go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more content on building a profitable PT practice without the burnout. Second, if you're ready to actually clear the unconscious blocks that are sabotaging your boundaries, I have 2 spots left this month for the PT Freedom Formula Intensive. It's a 90-day program where we clear the childhood programming and limiting beliefs that are driving those people-pleasing patterns, and then we implement the systems that will actually work. You can find that link down in the description below. And if this resonated with you, go ahead and drop a comment below and tell me, what's the one boundary that you keep breaking and why do you think that is? I'll see you in the next one.